What's up, everyone? It's Breonna. I'm an educator, a business owner, and your all around encourager. And we are back with our series, What Led You Here? And as we have been having these discussions, we are now talking about finding joy, finding purpose in life shifts. Because as you are pursuing that thing or God is leading you to that thing, things change. Okay, let me just say it that way. And so, in that, you have to be planted even in your pursuit. And I have here with me my girl, Alayna, on purpose. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. So, before we get into our topics, I like to do an icebreaker. So, the icebreaker today is if you could title this season of your life with a movie, what would it be and why?
Ooh, with a movie. Let me think. I don't know.
Oh, we could do a TV show.
Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. I'm trying to think through titles. I don't know. Give me some examples. um, Life.
Life?
Yes.
Why life?
I couldn't really think of one that could like perfectly describe like where I'm at right now, but
Yeah.
I'm experiencing a lot of transitions, a lot of new territory,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in a different season where it really like requires me to trust God in every area of my life.
Yes. Yes.
And so that's why I said life because it's one of those very significant seasons of life that we are bound to experience, and that's the closest title I can come up with.
Okay. I feel it. I love that. I love how you flipped it. Yeah, I chose the title life, but don't get into the contents because everybody content different.
No,
You know what? I had one movie in mind, but I just switched it as we talked, and that movie is Aquila and the Bee.
okay,
And I chose that movie because I know the backstory to the movie. So Aquila shared that when the movie first came out, it flopped. It flopped
okay,
because it wasn't available on VHS. And so once they did it on VHS and they put it in the theaters again, like a second round, that's when it blew up. So it blew up once it came out the theater, really, and got into homes. And so she was that to me, even though the movie has the concept about teacher, I am a teacher, and like a man helping her get to through the spelling bee and whatnot. I just like the backstory. Like the first time it launched, it didn't work,
right,
but the second time it hit. And
yes,
so that's what I feel like this season is for me. Like that first time I came out, it didn't hit. But that second time, yeah, 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 my people showed up. So
I
you
love
guys
that.
drop it in the comments. What is that movie that describes this season of your life? All right. So in that, let's go ahead and get into your story. What who is Alana on purpose?
Alayna,
I know. I don't know why, Alayna. I'm
my
sorry.
brains just swapped that for some reason, but it's okay.
Forgive me. Okay.
Right. But who am I? I always struggle a little bit with answering this question, but I'm a mom, wife, entrepreneur. I am the founder of Alayna on Purpose, so that's my personal brand. I have two companies that I'm currently building up: ALP Coaching and Consulting, and also the Be a Collaborative. They both focus on consulting. Um, ALP Coaching is more toward um, coaching high achieving women who are faith based and faith driven, and really guiding them to overcome self doubt. right? And really seeing purpose in their calling. And I also have my degree in public health. And so the Be a Collaborative is more focused on the public health world and specifically employee wellness. So I'm in the process of really trying to break out of the typical 9 to 5 and really do what God has called me to do.
Yes, I love that. And that's living on purpose. And as I remember, I recall you posting some reels where you were just challenging us to affirm our day. And I really took heed to that. I'm telling you, our words have power, just what we say about our day. And so in your pursuit, I am just in awe of it because again I see just how you have elevated and maintained, and so that's kind of what leads me to walking through shifts. So what changes in your life pushed you to say, all right, I'm going full in on my purpose?
Oh, so many, right? It wasn't really just one instance that pushed me into that. It was a series of events that kind of got me to a point to really consider what life was all about and what God really has me here to do. Some examples I can give is like dealing with certain relationships. I'm from Florida. I now live in Phoenix. I originally moved here for a job, right? I was transferred with the job that I had. I ended up getting fired from that job after a year and a half of being in it, right? Um, Moved on to some other positions. I experienced layoffs. I've experienced divorce. So there's so many things that really contributed to me just really honing in on like who I am as a person, um, and what it means to really live this out. And it really just got to a point to where God was kind of speaking to me about it personally. And I just started casually creating content around it because anytime I create something, it's from a place of wanting to share with other people and allowing them to experience the healing or the transformation or whatever revelation I'm getting at that time. If I feel led to share that, like it's all stemmed in that experience, it's all stemmed in the things that God shares with me. And so that's where that always comes from. And as he started speaking to me and I started having conversations with other people, I really just realized that the idea of purpose is so broad, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And we have been taught that it's like this thing to be attained, right? Once we check
Mm.
all our boxes, once we get it all right, then we'll be in purpose. And God showed me, like, nah, we're in it right now, right?
All right. All right.
Yeah, and everything that we're experiencing is contributing to our purpose, right? It's just in a particular season. It looks a certain way right now, but we're not outside of it, right? We're always in purpose.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just God has just really taken the time to really shape my perspective in that and has allowed me to really gather other people's understandings of what purpose looks like. And He's given me this desire to really just dig into it and share that with anyone that I can, but specifically women, because I feel like I've always had a love for women, right? We rule the world. I say that, or we make it go round is really the better way that I say it, right? Like without us, nobody would be here.
Yes. Right.
So I just think it's really important to take care of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
Yes.
not downplaying the men at all, right? But I just have a special place in my heart for women and everything that we bring to this world. And so, yeah, that's how I got there.
Good, good. I love that. And as you share, I love how you said, God showed me purpose is not quote unquote a thing to obtain. You walk in it daily. You
Amen.
walk in, you walk through. It just looks different based on circumstance.
Yeah.
And so in that, I wanna take you back to a moment where you might have said, I feel buried. Like I just feel like I'm underground. But when did you actually realize, no, I'm not being buried, I'm actually planted?
Mm.
That
The
dark
moment
season
that
that turned
I'm
into
thinking
light.
of, yeah. I mean, the first thing that came to mind for me is when I experienced divorce. Um, it was just a time where I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to do, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
was fighting so hard for that not to happen, and it still happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
when you're in that position, it makes you question everything, right? Like
Yeah.
what was I
Yeah.
doing all of this for? Why did I make these quote unquote good decisions just to still like end up in this place, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
and I, man, as terrible as I felt going through that, and I had many nights where I was curled up crying in a corner somewhere, right? I never once blamed God for it, and I never once questioned if He was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
he gave me subtle, sweet reminders to let me know that He was right there, right? Though it did not feel so great, right? It could have just been a conversation or just something that somebody said to me or something I heard while I was watching a movie, right? Just the smallest
The
detail.
small things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like He was just giving me a hug, you know. Um, and so those types of interactions let me know that I'm not alone in it. And
Mm-hmm.
though it's very heavy to experience, right? It just kind of lets me know that He's working with me through it in those moments.
Yeah. And it built you. Like I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know ins and outs, but when I say I look at you as a light through it
Okay.
all,
Yes.
through it all. And
Yeah.
so I just really I can honestly say you have been planted and purposed even through that.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, like I said, did not know, but you worked through it, you know.
Yeah.
And so in that, like you already say you have two companies you are birthing in this season.
Yeah.
So break it down for us a little bit more about purpose. Like, what is your definition? I know we go to Webster, but what is your definition of purpose?
Yeah. So I like to keep things simple, right? And I think it can be defined in a lot of ways. And so the way I define it is to be effectively impactful.
Girl.
That's how I define it.
Yes.
And in the course that I created, like that is a huge piece of it for people to take the time to define purpose for themselves, right? Um, because yeah, like you said, we can go to Google, we can go to Webster, and they can tell us what it is, but if we don't really understand what it means to us, right, and what that looks like in our lives, we won't know how to
Mm-hmm.
pursue it. So I define it that way based on my strengths that I have, based on my spiritual gifts, based on the different experiences and feedback that I've gotten over time, right, to understand where I'm impactful at, right? And
Yeah.
so for me, I take that wherever I go. So it can be in the workplace, right? It can be here at the house. It can be at church while I'm serving, wherever I'm at. If I'm doing that, right? If I'm being impactful
Mm-hmm.
and I'm being effective, right? Then I know that I'm operating in purpose. It doesn't have to be like this grandiose thing.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's how
Man. Say your two words again.
being effectively impactful.
Just go ahead and put that on a shirt because we need that. We need that. Woo! That is so, man, two powerful words. I am
Effectively,
stuck.
yes. It's
God,
simple though,
that
right?
don't take a lot. If you just effectively, We can go ahead and drop the mic. That was a drop the mic moment. I'm telling you, that was a drop the mic. So, in that, right, what encouragement do you have for women who feel stuck? They say, I just want to pursue purpose, but I feel stuck. Like, what should I do? Like, where do I go? How do I know?
Yeah. Um, so the first thing I would say is it's a feeling, right?
Mm,
When you feel stuck. So it's important to understand that, right? Because it's going to fade. It's not a representation of reality, right?
mm-hmm.
But what it also says is that you're lacking fulfillment somewhere, right?
Okay.
So now you are going to have to take a step back to figure out where that lack is coming from. That's what I would say to that. And once you take the time to really analyze, everything that you got going on and what's contributing to that lack of fulfillment, now you can make a game plan to find fulfillment in that specific area.
Mm-hmm.
And if you aren't
So,
sure, oh, go ahead.
mm-hmm. No, I was just thinking when you said that, um, when you were in your career shifts,
Mm-hmm.
um, when did you like? What was that moment for you? What I mean, I know the first thing that you shared with us, but did you take a step back? How long have you been in the field of health and wellness?
Oh, I mean, my degree is in public health, so I got my
Right.
degree in 2011. So really, since I graduated.
Okay, so in that, right? Have you ever? Because I'm gonna be transparent. Transparent, Bree. Here we go.
Uh-huh.
I need to take a step back, honey. I'm gonna take these glasses off. This just for cute, but I need to take a step back. Really, I mean, I've been in education. It will be 10 years, Lord willing, July 2025. I mean, I'm in that moment. Like, I feel like, am I doing it? You feel good, but then you got these glimpses of like, maybe I want to do something different.
Yes.
So, like, in your career field, have you had that I want to do something different, or did you just shift within the area?
Um, so I would say it's been a combination of both for me.
Okay.
Um, so I've had moments where I've had the option, right, to shift
Mm-hmm.
and try things. And then I've also had moments where I have no choice but to shift.
Ooh, 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 ooh,
So in those moments, it's like, well, I have to move, right?
ooh.
And
Mm-hmm.
the thing about being forced to shift is sometimes you aren't necessarily forced into what you want to be forced into, right? It kind of
Yeah.
kicks you into survival mode. And so now you have to approach things a little bit differently. But to stay on topic to try to answer your question, um, I so I'm gonna say like it varies from person to person as
Mm-hmm.
far as how you go about finding that fulfillment and like what it looks like, right? There are so many factors that you have to take into consideration before you do that. So, for example, like now I'm a mother, right? So, risks that I
Right.
might have taken before I had my son, I'm not so quick to do that now because I have to be a bit more
Yeah.
calculated, right? I have to be
Yeah.
way more realistic. So I think a good way to think about it is to, and I know you've heard this before, but SMART goals. Have you heard that?
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Specific, measurable, achievable. What is it? Realistic,
Mm-hmm.
timely. Right?
Yes.
It's a
Yeah.
redundant process, but again, it's customizable to you.
Yep.
Right? So if it's something that you're feeling pulled to do, that desire is there for a reason, number one. So I would never ignore that. But taking the time to write it down, make a plan, and really write out all of the details, right? And make it achievable for yourself. And I really think that's
Amen.
what it comes down to. If you feel like it's in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing and you don't feel any conviction about it, whatever your particular process is as far as feeling good about it,
Yeah.
make a plan and move. The thing about it is you have to be flexible. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That is the main thing that I will say, top thing that I've learned in all of my endeavors and the things that I've gone after, things I'm still working on right now, right? I expected things to look a certain way and they didn't always go that
Mm-hmm.
way, right? And you've been there,
Right.
like you were there when I birthed PGP, right? PGP is still in the
Mm-hmm.
arsenal, right? But life happened, right? But
Yeah.
it didn't
Yeah.
roll out the way that I thought it was going to roll out, right? How I was trying to
Mm-hmm.
build that. So you have to be open to it maybe looking different than how you suspected and just be able to shift and reconsider and be innovative and all of that. But I feel like I'm kind of getting away from the topic, but
No, you're there. You're there because in purpose you shift. In purpose you stay planted until God uproots you. I mean, there are some moments where you got to grow through the concrete, and there are other moments where you got to be repotted.
that's right. That's right.
And I think in my season, I am, and that's really what inspired this series to just show people that our journeys through purpose, in purpose, look different, but it still brings God glory. And just you sharing that word of advice for our listeners, it hits me.
Good.
Cause I'm in a transition, honey. I don't know what this really gonna be, but I feel a shift for real.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and we shifting together because you leveling up two businesses. Hey,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna level up with you.
that's right.
So, in that, right, what is your bottom line principle that you feel God is teaching you in this season or just your overall mission? What would you say you feel God is teaching you overall?
Ooh, to narrow that down to one thing.
You don't have to, honey. Get the list.
um, Let me make sure I answer your question. What principle is
Yeah.
God teaching me?
Yes. Whether in
Mm.
life or just specifically about your mission of purpose.
Um, okay. So there's two things that are coming to mind. Um, One is to silence the noise.
Mm.
um, I'm trying to write this down before I get forget. Um, yeah, silence the noise, right? So we've been taught so much that is not God.
Mm-hmm.
We are also exposed to so many things that are not God, right? And a lot of
Right.
times mindlessly expose ourselves to these things. And so that is something that he has been really working with me specifically on is being able to stop consuming
Yes.
external things and
Mm-hmm.
trust what's in here already, which
Mm.
is the second thing.
Right.
The second thing is trust, not just trust within yourself, but trust in God, right? And I
Trust
said
God.
that at the beginning.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
season I'm in right now. It's like, for me, a lot of what I'm going after has not been done by those around me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I could probably access people, right, who have done it, but I didn't have that to witness growing
To
up. And
witness.
so
Yes. Yes.
I'm learning that this probably be the third thing is that like renewal of the mind is a real thing, right? And I think we say
That
that
hit me
out
this
of
week too.
practice.
Mhm.
Huh?
I said that hit me this week. Like
Yeah.
really having my mind on Christ, like thinking on things above and
Yeah.
not things beneath. Like that hit me this week.
Yeah.
Cause I took a solid day and just zoned in on
Yeah.
his word, no scrolling, like zoned in.
Yeah.
I chose the Bible over scrolling. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just be transparent. And it shifted how I approach every single thing that day. Legit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dang.
Felt like you was missing,
We
like you've been missing out.
I'm just it's a peace that surpass like the scripture just became life. Like
Yeah.
peace that surpasses all. I'm like, I ain't worried about that. I mean, it is what it is on that. It shift. I mean, as simple as that was, it shifted me. Like, hey, that's what he was saying.
Yeah. Literally. And that's what it takes, right? It takes for us to like get to a certain point to where we pursue that, right? He ain't that.
Mm,
He's been there the whole time. He's
whole
waiting on
time.
just waiting on us to tap in. Um. So yeah, and that's like you said, you had to make an intentional choice to do that, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's really what it's been for me is really understanding like how these external things have been affecting me over time, how they've affected my way of thinking, how I look at things, how I view myself, like so many things. And it's really just washing that all away, right?
Yeah.
And getting back to the core, getting back to the truth
Mm-hmm.
and operating from that space.
Yes, girl, that's good. One more point before we close. I
Okay.
was just like, man, we have literally allowed ourselves to go down these social media streets, understanding that we have to be the light even in those streets. Like the social media streets needs us. They need your platform. They need these videos because as you already mentioned, there's so much other. We have to be Jesus brand ambassadors.
I'm telling you.
Like he need us out there. He need us to do these videos.
You know.
He needs that. And people need to be walking in purpose and not allowing themselves to think just because they hit a roadblock. This is what hit me today, girl. This is what hit me for real. Instead of saying I have hit a oh my gosh, I had it early, but getting to the point, I had said instead of hitting a roadblock, we need to turn them into hurdles. We need to
Oh, I
learn how
love
to
that.
jump over them like hurdles instead of allowing them to be holdups. Turn them
Yes.
into hurdles and
Yes.
allow ourselves to jump. And because I mean, I think we allow ourselves to stay stuck, but just like somebody in track, they jump over that. It's not a roadblock anymore. They jump.
Yep.
And God has really just challenged me today with that thought, like jump over that, like whatever that is, jump because you have the ability to do it. Even if you got to skip over it, put one leg over and then the other. Get over it.
Listen, can I tell a real funny story about that real quick?
Yes, go.
That resonates with me because I used to run hurdles and I hated them, right? And one of my first second track meets, when I tell you I ran up to a hurdle, I happened to be in a lane that was like by the grass, by the field.
Yes.
When I ran right around that hurdle and kept going because I was too scared to jump over it.
But you know what? You took that moment and you said, I'm
I made
still
the
I'm still in pursuit. I'm still gonna get to the finish line. It might be
and I
out of
did.
compliance,
And I did.
but I'm gonna get there. And see, that's a real thing though. We need to pursue that finish line by any means necessary. Cause he said, press towards the mark of the high calling by any means necessary.
I'm telling you.
Man, listen, before we close this video, tell everybody where they can follow you and get all these good videos because y'all missing them.
Let's see. So right now I'm trying to beef up TikTok. So I'm on TikTok. Alayna on Purpose is the handle on there. Alayna on Purpose on Instagram. Um, my YouTube will be up soon. And then AlaynaOnPurpose.com.
Yes. Well, I have enjoyed this conversation, and I just want everybody to know before we close, you are not buried, you are planted, and you're getting ready to bloom in season. I love y'all. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.
Bye, y'all.